The 30th annual Alaska Native Art Auction, celebrating Indigenous artists and voices, takes place Saturday, March 21st at the Hotel Captain Cook in Anchorage. Information available at knba.org.
This is National Native News. I'm Brian Bowles, sitting in for Antonia Gonzalez. Protecting tribal sovereignty is the top discussion at the National Congress of American Indians 2026 winter session, which is taking place this week in Washington, D.C. NCAI President Mark Maccaro highlighted the importance of tribal sovereignty in a State of Indian Nations address. Maccaro says before there was a U.S., there were sovereign tribal nations.
Our sovereignty was not created by treaties, nor granted by Congress. It is inherent and existed before colonization. Treaties did not give us sovereignty, they recognized it. The Constitution did not define us. It acknowledged us. Federal laws did not create our rights. It memorialized them. And yet, for centuries, our sovereignty has been attacked, and attempts continue to constrain and diminish it. Yet our nations continue to govern, continue to lead, to teach, to resist, and to rise.
Maccaro says recent attacks include calls by Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt to limit tribal sovereignty, which Maccaro says is appalling. Tribal leaders in Oklahoma agree with Maccaro's sentiment. Reggie Wassernae is governor of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma.
This day and age, we shouldn't have to ask why tribes have a sovereignty. We shouldn't have to ask what the tribe's capabilities are, how they can function, how they can prosper, and who are tribes. That should not be asked today.
Wassernae and Maccaro say tribal leaders are often educating elected officials about American Indian history, tribal sovereignty, and the U.S. government's trust and treaty responsibilities. Before every census, the federal government picks several test sites focusing on hard-to-reach areas. But the Bureau has canceled that testing at 4 of the 6 regions, including 2 that cover Arizona tribal lands. As KJZZ's Gabriel Pietrorazio reports, this isn't the first time the census has changed course with Indian country.
In fact, this also happened in 2016, when 2 reservations in Washington and South Dakota were nixed, citing budget uncertainty and funding shortages.
Now we're in 2026.
That's census consultant Sandra Mitrovich, who co-leads the Natives Count Coalition. She's also a member of the Berry Creek Rancheria of Maidu Indians of California.
In the last 2 decennials, not only have we had the undercount, but we've had this cancellation of test sites for tribal areas twice.
Mitrovich says one concern is that the Trump administration is considering to use Postal Service staff to replace temporary census workers to conduct the count and cut down on costs.
A lot of households are left invisible to the census, and they also have non-traditional addresses.
In 2020, the nonprofit Native American Rights Fund reported that more than 80% of all registered Indigenous voters in Arizona outside of Metro Phoenix and Tucson rely solely on P.O. boxes. This time around, San Carlos and White Mountain Apache homes in Arizona, as well as Cherokee households in North Carolina, are being left out. The Census Bureau would not say why.
And how are we going to say that we're going to carry out this fair and full representation that this survey is supposed to provide of the country?
For National Native News, I'm Gabriel Pietrorazio.
And on this day in 1978, the longest walk by Native activists began. A startup ceremony took place on Alcatraz Island, where the group then proceeded to travel by foot from Sacramento to Washington, D.C. to build awareness of treaty rights and injustice. This is National Native News. I'm Brian Bull.
National Native News is produced by Kawanak Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Skugtash. For more than 40 years, Ramona Farms has revived ancient traditional foods, tepary beans, pinoli, polentas, and more, all from store.ramonafarms.com. Ramona Farms supports this show. Omye. Tribal Development Partners, helping tribes build toward their goals through 105L leasing and essential facility development, empowering sovereignty, strengthening community. More at tribaldevpartners.com, proud supporters of this show.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.